2027 is shaping up to be the boldest, most transformative year in the history of MotoGP. The sport isn't just tweaking a few rules, it's reinventing itself from the inside out. Engine sizes are shrinking, aerodynamics are getting cut back, ride height devices are out, and for the first time ever, bikes will be powered entirely by non-fossil fuel. This is a full-on reset, and it's not just about making the racing cleaner and greener, it's about making it more intense, more competitive, and frankly, more entertaining. Let's break it all down. The engine revolution, from 1,000 cubic centimeters to 850 cubic centimeters. Let's start with the headline, change that's caught everyone's attention. The move from 1,000cc engines to 850cc. This change alone sets the tone for what 2027 is all about. Smaller engines mean lower top speeds, which means increased safety, but it's not just about slowing bikes down. This change is also about stretching performance across longer distances, improving efficiency, and bringing MotoGP bikes a little closer to the real-world motorcycles we see on the road. Each rider will now be limited to 6 engines per season for a 20-race calendar. If the calendar grows to 21 or 22 races, they'll be allowed a 7th. Meanwhile, manufacturers in concession rank D will get 2 extra engines per rider per season to help them stay competitive. That kind of structure keeps things tight and rewards reliability and smart engineering. KTM has already made a bold move by becoming the first manufacturer to fire up a working 850 cubic centimeter engine. That happened back in September 2025. And it wasn't just for show. They dropped a video on YouTube giving the world a taste of what the new aero will sound like, and it's different for sure. Pit Beirer, KTM's motorsport boss, couldn't hide his excitement. According to him, everything KTM has learned in their years of MotoGP has gone into this engine. He called it a piece of art, and if early signs are anything to go by, that's not an exaggeration. The sound, the response, the power delivery, everything feels like a new chapter. Even amid financial uncertainties from the previous winter, KTM's early fire-up is a clear signal. They're all in for 2027 and beyond, but this is just the beginning. Aero overhaul, cutting the wings, turning up the action. If there's one area that's become controversial in recent years, it's aerodynamics. Winglets, fairing mods, tail structures, they've all added performance but also complications. From making overtaking harder to amplifying dirty air, aero's been a double-edged sword. Come 2027, MotoGP is cutting things back, literally. The width at the top of the front fairing will shrink by 50 millimeters, going from 600 millimeters to 550 millimeters. The nose? That's being pulled back 50 millimeters. Even the height of the rear aero will be trimmed, dropping from 1,250 millimeters to 1,150 millimeters. All this will drastically reduce the overall impact of aero on straight line stability and braking performance. The goal: cleaner racing, more overtakes, and tighter battles. Rear aero is also being brought under stricter control. From 2027, any aerodynamic parts behind the rider will be locked into homologation. That means manufacturers can only make one update per season. No more constant tweaks to stay ahead of the curve. It's all about keeping the grid on a level playing field and reducing spending wars between teams. There's also a looming ban on leg wings, those side appendages that first popped up on Aprilia and then quickly found their way onto Honda machines. While not officially part of the 2027 regs yet, proposals have already been submitted to the Grand Prix Commission, and many expect they'll be outlawed even before the new rules kick in. This shift in aero philosophy isn't just about performance, it's about spectacle, it's about making sure fans see more overtakes, closer battles, and fewer processional races where riders are locked into position by dirty air. Another angle to consider is how these changes might affect the way bikes behave in the slipstream. With less turbulent air being thrown behind leading riders, following bikes should be able to stay closer without suffering major front-end instability, That means more pressure on the leader and more strategic passing on long straights. Riders might also need to adjust their corner entry tactics, as the reduced aerodynamic grip could slightly alter braking points and stability into tight turns. Teams will likely need to reconfigure weight distribution and suspension geometry to compensate for the reduced downforce, especially under heavy braking zones. It's going to be a reset for data collection too. Years of aero-specific telemetry will have to be recalibrated or thrown out entirely. That might open doors for underdog teams who adapt quicker. The new aero rules could also reduce dependency on CFD and wind tunnel testing, which could be a cost saver for satellite outfits. And let's not forget visual aesthetics. Expect sleeker, more minimalistic front ends that bring the bikes a step closer to the naked, aggressive lines fans loved in earlier eras. Some riders might welcome the more physical riding style this encourages, while others may find themselves needing to retrain habits built around the stability of modern aero. What's certain is that fans are likely to see more late lunges, more daring overtakes, and more last lap drama. And with overtaking back at the heart of the spectacle, it's safe to say the entertainment factor is about to go up. Some manufacturers are definitely not thrilled. These devices have been central to recent R&D investments. But from a racing standpoint, this is a win. It's about putting the action back into the hands of the riders. Fueling the future, 100% sustainable, 100% MotoGP. The engine downsizing isn't the only shift towards sustainability. From 2027, MotoGP bikes will run on 100% non-fossil origin fuel. That's a massive leap from the 40% minimum requirement introduced in 2024. This isn't just a PR move, it's a commitment from MotoGP to lead the charge toward a cleaner, more responsible future of motorsports, without sacrificing the thrill or performance that defines the series. And to make things even tighter, fuel tank capacity is dropping from 22 liters to 20 liters in full-length Grand Prix. For the Tissot Sprint races, it's just 11 liters. That'll force teams to fine-tune engine efficiency and race strategy like never before. It's about more than just going green. It's about smarter racing. It's about building bikes that go fast and go far using less. A gearbox rebalance and the data revolution. Let's talk about the drivetrain. In 2027, the number of gearbox ratios permitted per season will reduce to just 16 pairs plus 4 primary drive ratios. That means teams can't just endlessly swap gearing setups to find micro advantages for every track. They'll have to make smart compromises and work with broader setups. This could lead to more variation between bikes across circuits. One team might nail it for fast-flowing tracks but struggle at tight circuits. That adds an extra layer of drama and unpredictability. And speaking of unpredictability, here's a game changer. GPS data from every rider will now be made available to every team after each session. This is huge. It levels the playing field in a way MotoGP's never seen before. Lower-tier teams will have access to the same data that factory giants are using to fine-tune performance. It's like handing out a cheat sheet to everyone in class, except it's not cheating, it's just smarter competition. Not only does it help struggling teams improve, it also helps fans understand more. The more data gets shared and visualized, the deeper the insight for broadcasters and viewers. Expect more engaging analysis during races, better storytelling, and more appreciation for the genius behind each rider's choices. Now here's where things get strategic. As part of this 2027 reboot, all manufacturers who raced in 2026 will start 2027 in concessions rank B. This reset acknowledges that the new rules are a fresh playing field, and it gives everyone a chance to adapt without carrying the weight of previous year's results. At the mid-season checkpoint in summer 2027, manufacturers will be reassessed. Depending on how they're performing, they can move up or down in concession ranks, gaining or losing privileges like additional testing or parts development. If a manufacturer didn't race in 2026, they'll start in rank D instead. But like everyone else, they'll be judged purely on their performance during the first half of the 2027 season. It's a reactive system that rewards progress and punishes complacency. This system is built for the long haul. It's designed to keep performance gaps from ballooning while allowing new or returning manufacturers a chance to climb up. It's also a subtle nod to the reality of the business. Aprilia's Marco De Luca, for example, called the 850 cubic centimeter project a cost suicide for some manufacturers. KTM, despite financial worries in the past, has stayed committed and proactive. But not every team is so sure. There's uncertainty, and with it, opportunity. Pirelli joins the party. Oh, and let's not forget about the rubber. From 2027, Pirelli becomes the new official tire supplier in MotoGP. That's another major variable being added into the mix. New engines, new aero, new fuel, and now new tires. Every aspect of how a MotoGP bike behaves is about to change. Riders will need to relearn feel, grip limits, and tire life. Teams will need to build new strategies around warm-up windows and degradation. It's a whole new chapter, not just for tech, but for tactics, pushback from legends, and the promise of what's coming. And as you'd expect, not everyone's thrilled about all this change. Double world champion Casey Stoner has been one of the most vocal critics. He's skeptical that these changes will deliver the kind of improved racing experience that the rulebook promises, and there's something to be said for that. MotoGP isn't broken, it's thrilling already, but the changes aren't meant to fix a problem, they're meant to future-proof the sport. They're designed to make racing cleaner, more skill-based, and more competitive across the board. They're built to open up access, help smaller teams compete, and create a more balanced and unpredictable championship. And maybe most importantly, they're built to keep MotoGP spectacular, not just now, but for the next generation. This isn't just a rules update. 2027 is a reset, a reimagining, and a recommitment to what makes MotoGP so electrifying. The 850 cubic centimeter engines bring sustainability, road relevance, and fresh engineering challenges. The stripped-down aero brings more overtakes and less processional racing. Banning ride height devices and sharing GPS data brings rider skill back into the spotlight. And with a fuel supply that's fully sustainable, a tire partner ready to shake things up, and a concession system designed to tighten the field, MotoGP is stepping into the future with both wheels spinning. It's faster, it's fairer, it's fresher, and it's just the beginning. If this deep dive into MotoGP's massive 2027 rule changes got your adrenaline going, there's more where that came from. Hit that like button, share it with your fellow fans, and drop a comment about which rule you're most curious or skeptical about. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next from the world of MotoGP.